You ever wonder if that old box of comics you've got stashed away somewhere could be hiding a fortune? Well, for a very, very small group of people, that box might just contain something worth more than a mansion or a supercar. So today, let's open the vault and meet the exclusive members of the $1 Million Comic Book Club.
But before we get to the jaw-dropping price tags, let's just zoom out for a second. What do you think the whole market for buying and selling these paper treasures is even worth? Just take a guess.
The answer? A staggering $25 billion. And you know what's really wild? It's not slowing down. Not at all. Fueled by the endless parade of superhero blockbusters, experts are actually projecting this market is going to double to a massive $50 billion by 2032.
So that begs the question, right? How does a comic that originally sold for 10 cents turn into a multi-million-dollar asset? Well, it's not just luck. There's actually a kind of science to it.
It really boils down to four crucial things that collectors are always hunting for. First up, you've got early issues. We're talking especially about issue number 1. Second, first appearances. The debut of a major character, that's a total game changer. Third is rarity. Maybe it was a limited print run, maybe there's a unique error. And finally, maybe the most important factor of them all, condition.
And when we talk about condition, you need proof. That's where the Certified Guarantee Company, or CGC, comes in. Think of them as the gold standard, the trusted third party that grades these books on a really strict 10-point scale. A high CGC grade is the ultimate seal of approval, and it can literally mean a difference of millions of dollars in the final sale price.
Okay, so now that we've got the ground rules set, let's get to the main event. It's time for a countdown of the top 5 most expensive comics ever sold.
Kicking off our list at number 5, we have a genuine piece of history. This is the comic that literally started it all for one of the biggest names in entertainment, Marvel Comics number 1, all the way back from 1939.
So how much for the book that basically birthed the Marvel Universe? A cool $2.42 million.
So, what makes this one so special? Yeah, it's got the first appearances of the Human Torch and Namor the Submariner, which is huge. But this specific book is known as a pay copy. Get this. It actually has handwritten notes from the publisher inside detailing exactly how much the artists were paid for their work. It's not just a story, it's a piece of business history.
All right, coming in at number 4 is a comic that perfectly captured a defining moment in world history, Captain America Comics number 1 from 1941.
This incredible piece of patriotic pop culture, a direct reflection of its time, fetched an amazing $3.1 million.
See, its value is just completely tied to its historical weight. It came out while World War II was raging, and it features that unforgettable, absolutely iconic cover of Captain America landing a haymaker right on Hitler's jaw. And its value just exploded during the recent collectibles boom, proving how timeless its appeal really is.
At number 3, we've arrived at the one that started the entire superhero genre as we know it. The big one, Action Comics number 1.
The world's very first introduction to Superman? That sold for a mind-bending $3.55 million.
But the story behind this particular copy is just fantastic. It's known as the Rocket copy. And why is that? Because the 13-year-old kid who bought it off the newsstand back in 1938 stamped it with his toy rocket ship. How great is that? That tiny, charming little mark adds this unique personal story to an otherwise pristine comic, and collectors just went absolutely wild for it.
Okay, our number 2 spot belongs to the debut of one of the most popular, most relatable superheroes ever put to paper, Amazing Fantasy number 15.
That's right, the world's introduction to your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man swung to a record-setting price of $3.6 million.
So what pushed this sale into the history books? It was a perfect storm, really. You've got the first appearance of Peter Parker, created by the legends Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. But then you have the condition. This copy is one of just a handful in the entire world to get a near-mint CGC grade of 9.6. That level of preservation is what made it the most expensive comic ever sold at a public auction.
And if you want to see just how much condition truly matters, look no further than Superman number 1. A high-grade copy sold for an incredible $2.6 million, but another copy, an even more pristine one from a legendary collection, went for millions of dollars more. That is the power of condition, and as we're about to see, it makes all the difference in the world.
And that brings us to the king, the Holy Grail, the single most expensive comic book ever sold, Superman #1 from 1939.
This one comic book, the first to give the Man of Steel his very own standalone title, sold in a private sale for an almost unbelievable $5.3 million.
And this is it. This is that legendary Edgar Church/mile-high copy we were just talking about. Its backstory is famous among collectors, and its condition is considered nearly perfect. It represents the absolute peak of cultural importance and financial value, making it the undisputed champion of the collecting world.
Wow. Okay, so, after seeing those astronomical prices, you have to ask, right? Where does a multi-billion-dollar market like this even go from here? What's next?
Well, the experts are seeing a few key trends. For one, the market is going global, which means even more demand. We might also see limited edition books from today's indie artists become the prized collectibles of tomorrow. But let's be real, for the foreseeable future, those blue-chip comics, the first appearances of characters you see in the movies, they're going to continue to dominate the high end of the market.
And that leaves us with one last really fun question to chew on. With prices still soaring and the whole market expected to double in size, what comic book do you think will be the very first to shatter that $10 million barrier?